Welcome to our 2017 Promaster 159 wheelbase campervan conversion. This is our second DIY van build, and this time around we have built her for full-time living as we plan to be splitting our time between the van and our sailboat. Before we get started, I want to skip straight to the thing that everyone wants to come to these for, which is how much did it cost? And I will tell you that our budget was $30,000, and I will tell you that we were under that, but to find out the exact number, you're gonna have to stick around. So come on inside. This area here is our work and lounge area. We have two Scopima swivel seats, one on each chair. We typically have the passenger seat switched, but we only swivel the driver's seat when we're having like movie night. Underneath this passenger seat is our Velvet gasoline heater. This heater has run for almost 4 months straight because we spent the winter partially in Maine and partially in like northern Arizona and Utah, and it has been flawless. Above the cab here, we have a storage area that holds all of our outerwear like raincoats and poofy coats, some cleaning supplies, and some hiking gear. It was really important to us when we did this build that we had two workstations so that we both could work at the same time. The first is our built-in station over here. It has a big monitor that's great for video editing for me, and when Andy's doing CAD work for his job, it's also great. So that was really important to have a nice mounted TV. And the bench seat here has some built-in storage underneath that houses dog food and usually has Andy's 3D printer, but right now it's in use. This is a luxury to carry our 3D printer with us, but we do use it on the road to fulfill orders from our shop and to just fix things around the camper. The second workstation is a lagoon table that stows under here when it's not in use, and we can use it as both a workstation and it swivels out enough to be an extra countertop for our kitchen as well. Above the built-in desk, we have additional cabinet storage space above that we use primarily for electronics. And above my head here is our Dometic RTX 2000 12-volt air conditioner. This thing is amazing. We love it so much. It allows us to leave Aiden unattended and make sure he's comfortable. And it's also really great for those super, really hot nights. Speaking of leaving Aiden unattended, on this wall here, we have mounted two temperature monitors. One runs on cellular and one runs off of the Wi-Fi that is our Starlink. So we can monitor the temperature in here two different ways so we can make sure he's being safe when we're not here. As we move towards the back of the van, the next area is our kitchen. On this side over here, we have obviously the biggest piece, which is our fridge. This is a Rec Pro 4.4 cubic foot fridge freezer combo. It was really important to me that we had a normal fridge in this build. We have a chest freezer on the boat and I'm just sick of it. So I wanted something different to kind of just be a break from that. And this fridge is fantastic. It's huge for a van fridge, and the freezer, we've been super impressed with just how solid it keeps everything frozen. Things are just rock solid. Above the fridge, we have what we affectionately call our bread box. This opens this way here. And in here is bread, tortillas, chips, all the things that can get squished in other drawers so they don't squish each other. And then we have our oven. We knew that we needed to find a super small oven to fit in this space. We were kind of building this cabinet based off what we found for an oven. We found this cutie patootie, and I love the aesthetics of it. And it happened to be one of the smallest toaster oven air fryer combos on the market. And from a power standpoint, because it's so small, it uses very little power. We absolutely love it. It fits a 9x9 pan. And there's occasionally, you can't put a frozen pizza in it or anything crazy, but it does the job on most everything else. Underneath our fridge, we have what we call the pantry drawer. This has most of our canned goods and dry goods. So a lot of pasta, beans, that kind of stuff's all in here. It's also where we keep our fresh fruit and veg in this basket right here. There's not a lot in there right now, so there's a few other things in there instead. And this all locks in place because it's super heavy. On the other side of the kitchen, we have our counter space, and then we have a set of 4 drawers. The top drawer is our induction cooktop, as well as silverware, knives, and odds and ends gadgets. The second drawer is snacks, drink mixes, coffee, and paper products. Third drawer is our pots and pans and dishes, and the bottom drawer is small appliances and staples like flour, rice, and sugar. This butcher block countertop has been stained and then polyurethaned, so it's waterproof. It has a magnetic utensil holder on it, so this is like doesn't go flying when we're on the road, but it keeps all of this stuff out of the drawers, so it saves some space. And it can be extended with our lagoon table. So if we have the cooktop out, we have an additional workspace if we need it. We don't find we use it that often. Then we have our massive sink. It was really important to me that we had a large sink. We've lived with small sinks in some of our other small living spaces, and I wanted something that was big enough to be able to wash my hair, do dishes without getting water everywhere, and this has really done the trick. It's also great as a catch-all if we need to just grab some things to toss in it before we get on the road. We try not to do that, but it does work that way if we needed to. Behind the sink, we have our nice spice rack. This goes back and forth with us to the boat. These are all just attached with magnets, and they're a huge space saver and also super cute. And then behind the sink, we have our everyday toiletries. So things like toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, sunscreen, face lotion, all that kind of stuff is in these caddies that Andy has 3D printed behind the sink. We also have a fan here, which does a really great job of being able to push cooking stuff out or to push cool air back towards the bed if the AC's on. We just use it to kind of, it turns and goes in whatever direction we want it to. So it's great for just moving air around, which can get stagnant in a space this small. In the cabinet above the sink, we have like oils, vinegars, and our electric kettle, the stuff Andy uses to make coffee every morning. So our AeroPress, and just some odds and ends sauces. And here below the sink, we have our 5 gallons of gray water, our water heater, our trash can, and cleaning supplies all live under here. Out of sight, out of mind. Across from the sink, we have our toilet area. We have a Thetford cassette toilet that actually empties out through the wall on the outsides, so we don't have to carry any stuff through the van itself, like through our living space. We have a handheld bidet for flushing. We keep our toilet paper just kind of down here for right now. This also kind of doubles as like a little bit of just like a closet, so like there's a few things just stowed in here. And then on the back wall, we have our toiletry bags. So shower bags and towels are usually hanging up there. They're super sturdy hooks, and we made sure that they're like into a cross beam, so those don't go anywhere. In this area, we also have our fan setup that pulls warm air from the cabin area and moves it into the garage. This last winter, we were having issues with the garage getting too cold, and this has solved almost all of that problem. So there's a little controller back here, and then this little vent, there's a computer fan on the other side of it that draws the warm air from here and sticks it under the bed. It's a mess up here, but this is what we call the linen closet. We have extra dish towels, extra sheets, and our first aid kits are up here. Also, we have a little mirror that we can pull up when we're getting ready in the morning. It just kind of slides out. And that's all that's up there. And then that brings us to our bed area. Underneath our bed, we have a set of 4 drawers. The top 2 hold clothes. The third one is Aiden supplies, and the bottom one is pretty cool because it is actually both a step and a drawer, so it slides out. In here, there is shoe storage, so all of our extra hiking boots when we're not wearing them, all that kind of stuff, all is in here. And then we can just step right up onto the bed. Our bed itself is on a platform, and it is made up of 3 mattress toppers. It's a very long story how we got there, but it's actually super comfortable now. And between the mattress and the platform, we have hypervents, so there's nice airflow between the two. Up at the head of the bed, we each have a reading light that doubles as a USB port, and then we have additional USB ports for things like watch chargers and that kind of stuff. We also each have one of these little baskets that's on the walls. Andy's is over there, that holds our tablets, our Kindle, glasses, headphones, all that stuff. So they're kind of like our nightstands, if you will. At the foot of the bed, we have these two large overhead cabinets. They hold the majority of our clothes. So most of our like shirts and pants and that kind of stuff. This one's mine, that one's Andy's. I'm not going to show you Andy's. Above me, we have our Max Air fan. This can go both in and out, and it is able to be operated while it is raining, which is fabulous. And we have a bunk window that's over here, so we can get some really nice airflow going back and forth between the two. Makes it nice and cool. We don't have to run the AC very often. And that is it for the interior. So let's head outside and check out what's under the bed. The space under our bed is what we call the garage. On the doors here, you'll see we've got like our hose set up, and we normally have our power cord, but we're currently plugged in. Just some things that we want quick access to and don't want to have to dig through bins. This is a little less packed than it normally is because right now we're working on some boat projects. So we have a few things pulled out of here that are normally in here and a few things in here that are not normally in here, but the majority of this is how it normally looks. We have our extra 5 gallons of gray water over here. And then this here is our extra cassette for our cassette toilet. And on this side here is our 28-gallon Northwest Conversions water tank. Above that, we have some camp gear. And then this side, behind all the stuff on this side, is where all of our electronic components live. They're all boxed, so they're not bothered by all this junk. Our batteries, we have 900 amp hours of lithium ion batteries. Our inverter, which is a 2000 watt Victron inverter charger combo. Solar charge controllers, all of that live back behind here. The other things that are typically in here is we have a small Blackstone grill that we carry, a moonshade awning, our camp chairs, a camp table, all the things that make camping comfortable, outside comfortable, all live under here most of the time. This is also where our shower setup is. The shower head's right here, the mixer is here, and we typically run it like out here and into our pop-up shower tent. And it works beautifully. And up on the roof, we have our Max Air fan, 750 watts of rich solar panels, our air conditioner, and our Starlink dishy. The solar panels are mounted with our Penny Promaster system and our solar brackets. The Starlink is magnet mounted. Let's do a quick run around the exterior to talk about the other pieces that we've modified. So the first thing is our slider window. It has this little slider here so it can open up. It's really nice because we can vent out all of our cooking fumes out this window here, and it has a screen on it, which is awesome. This is our water fill. It is locking so nobody can mess with it. You just stick a key in, turn it, and in goes the hose, fills up the water tank. My personal favorite of our outside items, which is our dog poop dumpster. This thing is awesome. It keeps it so we can have all of his full bags out here and not in the van so they do not smell. And then down here, we have the electrical input for our shore power. Has a little cover right here that we can flip up so it doesn't get water in it. Around here is our bunk window. It is awning style. You can see it's open right now. And so it can be left open even if it's raining out, so we can get really nice airflow from the fan in and out just past our faces, which our pillows are like right here. And then down here we have the cassette toilet door. This is where we can pull the cassette out and we can empty it. It makes it so that we don't have to drag the cassette through our living quarters. We swapped out the factory headlights for LED ones because the old ones were super dim, like you couldn't see anything. So these new ones, much brighter, but they're not the like blind you bright. So those have been taken care of. And then very lastly, we've got all-terrain tires, and we have swapped out the struts in this for something a little beefier because once we got everything fully loaded and the van was a little bit heavier, the factory struts were a little soft. So there's heavier duty ones in here now, and it handles like a dream. So awesome there. Now I know after all of that, we promised you we'd tell you how much it costs. I do want to preface this with a couple of disclaimers. The first thing is that our 900 amp hours of lithium batteries are not included in this price. And that is because we are sharing that 900 amp hours between the boat and the van. We bought them before the van was even on our radar, but we did include the $300 for the smaller battery bank that will be staying in whichever of the two that we are not primarily in at any given time. So when we're on the boat, the 200 amp hours will be in here, or it'll be on the boat if we're not on the boat. So that $300 is included. This cost does include our fridge, our stove, our oven, but it doesn't include any other household contents or small appliances. The air conditioner was not in our original budget, but we were so far under budget that it is included in this price, and we are still under budget. And lastly, we bought the van itself for only $9,500 because it didn't have a working transmission. So we had to put a $4,000 transmission into it. That brought our total van cost to only $1,350. So that is why we are able to keep our budget so low. With all of that said, the total cost of our 2017 Promaster van build was $27,951. There have been a few things that we haven't been super happy about that we have changed or will be changing, and we'll be covering that in a video coming soon. But overall, we are incredibly happy with the overall layout and all of that when it comes to our tiny home on wheels. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will see you next time.